We forgot how to disagree, and it's killing us. Alright, episode 8, here we go. And this one might be one of the most important, but I kind of say that about every episode, so am I really to be listened to? It's not because it's not about crime or homelessness or roads or zoning. It's about us, the people, the way we talk, and honestly, the way we don't talk anymore. I'm going to say something kind of uncomfortable. We used to be better at disagreeing. We really did. There's a time, not long ago, where you could sit at a table with people who thought differently than you and still walk away respecting each other. You could argue a little, roll your eyes a little, laugh about it, and then grill burgers together. Nobody stormed off. Nobody unfriended anyone. Nobody posted a 3-paragraph Facebook essay on how the other side is destroying America. People were allowed to have different thoughts. But now, man, we treat disagreements like personal attacks. We treat opinions like war declarations. We treat every conversation like a debate stage where we must own somebody. And what has that accomplished? Nothing. Not one single thing. We're more divided, we're more angry, we're more paranoid, we're more exhausted, and we're solving zero of the issues that are actually hurting us. Think about that for a minute. We're fighting more than ever, but fixing less than ever. And I don't think it's because people suddenly got meaner or dumber. I think it's because we're scared. Scared to be wrong, scared to look uninformed, scared to offend someone, scared to say something that turns half the room on us. We've turned disagreement into a social death sentence. So now everyone walks around like they're defusing a bomb. And when people are scared to talk, they stop solving problems. That's the part nobody wants to admit. And you know what the worst part is? Disagreement is supposed to be normal. We're not clones. We're not robots. We're not supposed to think exactly alike. Every good idea in history has started in a disagreement. Every innovation started as someone saying, "No, I think there's a better way." Every community that grew because people brought different perspectives to the table. Disagreement isn't the problem. Hostility is. And somewhere along the way, we mix the two things up. Now disagreeing with someone is treated like disrespect, and that's backwards. You can disagree with someone and still respect them, love them, work with them, build with them, solve things with them, learn from them, grow with them. Or hell, even just get a beer and talk about life. Disagreement doesn't have to be personal. Disagreement doesn't have to be war. Disagreement doesn't have to define the entire relationship. But we've trained ourselves to react emotionally instead of listening, and it's costing us everything. Let me tell you why this matters so much right now. The challenges we talk about in this series, addiction, homelessness, affordability, crime, zoning, roads, policing, mental health, none of these can be solved if the moment someone brings up an idea, half the population screams, "Shut up, you're the enemy." How do you fix a state when people in it treat each other like rivals? How do you fix a community when neighbors won't even talk? How do you fix addiction problems when every conversation turns into politics? How do you fix housing when every idea is labeled left or right before anyone even reads it? You can't. You literally cannot move forward in a society where conversations end before they begin. We need each other. We need different ideas. We need opposing viewpoints. We need people with different backgrounds, different experiences, different lessons learned. Iron sharpens iron. Not iron sharpens iron as long as the iron agrees with me. So what do? How do we rebuild the lost art of disagreement, you ask? Well, here's a few ideas. Here's what actually works, not politically, but humanely. Number 1. Stop immediately assuming bad intentions. Most people aren't trying to destroy the world. They might just have a different angle on the subject. Number 2. Listen to understand, not to win. You're not on a debate stage. You're not scoring points. You're talking to another human being. 3. Ask questions instead of attacking. What made you feel that way? What brought you to that conclusion? Half the time, you'll find out You totally agree on the problem, just not the method. 4. Allow room for nuance. Very few issues are black and white. Most are gray with 1,000 different layers. 5. Don't treat politics like football teams. You're not required to pick a side. You're allowed to think independently, you're allowed to change your mind, and you're allowed to say, I don't know. And 6. Remember that frustration doesn't make someone your enemy. People are stressed, people are tired, people are scared. Give each other some grace. And finally, 7. Talk like you're talking to someone who could save your life one day, because you never know. They might. And finally, here we go with the big one. We need to bring kindness back into a disagreement. Not softness, not weakness, not sugarcoating, just kindness. A simple human understanding that the person across from you is a real person with a real story you probably know nothing about. Imagine what would happen if we did that. We'd actually solve things. We would actually collaborate. We would brainstorm. We would compromise. We would actually start fixing the world around us. Because disagreement, when done right, becomes fuel. Fuel for progress, fuel for ideas, fuel for unity, fuel for change. Hope is not gone. Only exists because disagreement is possible, because we know things aren't working. And we're allowed to say so. And we're allowed to talk about how to fix it together as a community, not as enemies. Disagreement isn't the problem. It's the doorway. And it's time we remember how to walk through it with respect, curiosity, and maybe a little humor mixed in. But hope isn't gone. We just stopped talking to each other. I hope I've been able to make an impression on you. And remember, at the end of the day, a better Washington doesn't start with the government. It starts with we, the people.